temperature is it in here? 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Woo! All right, it's happening? Is it going? It says it is, but it's not quite. I don't believe you. Oh, there it goes. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Here's to a problem. It's a little Thursday show because yesterday was a holiday. So, yeah, weird things are happening. Implied volatility is through the roof on GME options for the fact that they expire tomorrow. Like, way up. Even Unusual Whales is like, I've never seen anything like this. Last I checked, the 125s were at like 1,200% or something. Why? Por qué? Like, what could possibly make it do that? I have no idea. The prevailing theory we've been reading this week is that DFV unlocked a T35 infinite loop, meaning if he didn't exercise his options, as had sold them and bought shares, there's a T35 date now associated with trying to provide those shares to him, which comes to, I think, July 19th, which is the monthlies for July. And there's a T19 triggering today from his, or sorry, T35 triggering today from his sale last month in May. Yeah, so it's kind of weird and interesting. Also come out is information about MMTLP, where some of the market makers who were processing these were on the board of FINRA making a decision whether to U3 halt this whole thing. So that's coming out. Kristen O'Shaughnessy, who I'd love to have on the show sometime. I can't message her, though, because I don't have a verified account. So, oh well. She's been exposing a lot of that. There's other things I put in there. I'm currently on a Twitter timeout. I got a 12-hour timeout for calling Pwn WTF BBBQ Drinking McDrinkerton. She started trying to dox me all over again. It's all because she sent me a bunch of messages, which I didn't see because they were not just in the hidden folder, but like in the hidden folder. And basically she was begging to come on my show. I never saw them. And then one day she teams up with my stalker and starts just posting all sorts of stuff about me. And I went to message her to be like, hey, what the hell? Who the hell are you? And to discover she'd messaged me like 50 times begging to come on the show. And I was like, whoa. It's kind of like Moran's Rants did the same thing. So anyway, her account got deleted because she was like threatening and harassing people. And I didn't know she had a new account. And it posted a thing about, a sale of a Donald Trump mansion and how Pulte's uncle and Jeffrey Epstein were involved in the bidding. And asked a question. And she was like, oh, you again? And she started posting like 30 tweets about how I'm a liar because my undergraduate's in astronomy, yet I call myself an astrophysicist. And I try to explain to her that it's the same thing. And she's like, you're just a big fat liar. And then she claimed she called my college where I teach to get me fired. And anyway, I called her Drinking McDrinkerton and because she's a repeat alcoholic. And if you guys know my history about how I feel about people who drive drunk over and over again, you'll understand my frustration with dealing with someone like that. And there's some pretty spectacular video of her from 2020 drunk driving and getting in an astounding rollover on I-25. And it's not her first drunk driving incident. She's had multiple ones. But yeah, so she's never going to come on the show. And she can suck a fat egg. And she needs to go to rehab. So that's what I have to say. So there you go. How'd you acquire a stalker? Asked Scott. I used to be one of the admins for a community page for Bainbridge Island on Facebook. And this dude showed up and started posting all these weird videos about one of the most cherished community volunteers we have on the island, who got the Japanese internment memorial built and does programs for kids about the Japanese internment. He's He's worked for Congress people. He's worked for mayors. He's now a city council member here on Bainbridge. And he started posting these weird videos and things about how he's a liar and, you know, just making websites about him and whatever. So I was like, delete, block, because I didn't know who this dude was. And because I deleted and blocked him, he decided to start stalking me. So he's been stalking me since what, 2017? So 7 years now. Yeah, that's been fun. He's a neo-Nazi and serial stalker. He got forced into retirement from the Air Force for he back up a little bit. He's been arrested 4 times for like threatening police officers and drunken disorderly and whatever while he was in the Air Force. He got arrested at a border checkpoint in Texas for refusing to roll down the window on his car. He's like, "No, I'm American. I don't have to do this. I'm a free traveler," like sovereign citizen bullshit. And so the Border Patrol arrested him. And he sued the government for unlawful detainment. And the government was like, no, it's pretty lawful detainment. You suck. And denied his lawsuit. And then he appealed. And the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals like, no, you're crazy. We're going to uphold the original ruling. And so he started stalking federal judges, but using his computer at the Air Force to do it. And so the Air Force took his security clearance and his flight status, and he basically had to walk around with MPs, and he was facing court-martial and was going to have to get removed from the Air Force, or was going to face court-martial. So instead he resigned so that he didn't face court-martial. But he moved from Texas to Bainbridge Island because of an article he read about this community volunteer and who built the Japanese internment memorial. I was like, that guy's awesome. And he like sent him an email, and you know, the community volunteer was like, thanks so much for your email. So this guy moved across the country and bought the condo right behind this guy to become his best friend in the entire world. Like crazy time stuff. And there was a falling out, which I think involved the community volunteer being like, I don't know who you are, and you're giving me the creeps. Can you please leave? And that was like the explosion, I don't know, borderline personality or whatever it was that caused him to be like, oh yeah, well, I'll show you who can leave you alone. And then went totally bonkers. So anyway, he transferred that stalking from him to me 7 years ago for banning him from a bunch of groups on Facebook for, well, posting stalking stuff. And now I'm anti-free speech, and he's got websites and subreddits and documentaries, those are things about me. But I'm not the only one he's been stalking. He also stalked this poor guy, Brandon Bryant, who I think was on 60 Minutes or something talking about PTSD from operating drones. And one of the claims of the stalker was that he refused an illegal order, and that's why he got forced out of the Air Force, because to assassinate an American or something. And the other drone pilot, Brandon Bryant, was like, that's not what happened. You were not ordered to do that at all. I was there. And so Stalker Man made a documentary about Brandon Bryant, and they took that documentary to militia and neo-Nazi groups, like a film tour to all these different militia and neo-Nazi groups around the country. And then poor Brandon Bryant was getting death threats from neo-Nazis, and his wife and children like had to go in hiding, and his parents were like, you can't stay here if they're going to come kill you. And then recently he took YouTube footage from Brandon Bryant, and he edited it together. It's like selectively edited to make it look like Brandon Bryant was threatening to kill the city council people in Missoula, Montana, and then called the cops and had Brandon Bryant arrested on felony terroristic threat charges. So poor Brandon Bryant went to jail for months awaiting trial. Gets the trial, and then his lawyer is able to prove that this was selectively edited video. That's not what he said, and the jury, of course, acquitted. And anyway, that's my stalker. So it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful to have be in the crosshairs of somebody absolutely hinged. I tried to get a restraining order, but no one can find him. He lives in a van. He bounces around the country in his van, and so no one can serve him. And yeah. So anyway, Pone embraced my stalker, and doesn't know that astronomy and astrophysics are the same thing. Like, if you talk to an astronomer, right, astrophysicist, whatever, they'll call themselves, when they're talking to the general public, they'll generally say, I'm an astrophysicist. Why? Because if you say astronomer, the general public goes astrology and then asks us to do their star chart for them. No. So it's much easier to say astrophysicist, and then they go, oh, I don't know what that is, and they won't ask you stupid questions about their star signs. That is literally it. Like, in my undergraduate, my BS for astronomy, I have to take all the classes that are required for a bachelor's in physics. But because they share so many classes, when you graduate, you have to pick one. You either pick a physics bachelor's or an astronomy bachelor's, and I chose the astronomy. Today, if you graduate from the University of Hawaii Hilo, you get both. Even though I have all the same credits as they do, they now get to have a Bachelor of Science in Astronomy and a Bachelor of Arts in Physics. So I only got the minor in physics. That's all I was allowed from the school. But it's just so... it's so dumb. It's just the dumbest... Anyway, so no Twitter for me until like, what, 10 o'clock tonight or something? 11 o'clock tonight? Anyway, yeah, so let's just, what the hell, let's just do this. Bing! Hope that didn't happen. How about that? It's getting very warm in the room right now. Where are we? We're at 80 degrees. 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the room right now. It's going to get warmer as the week goes on. Okay, so before I go further, I have a couple of super chats here. I have Bill Coyne, Houston. I believe RC is scared of someone or something. His behavior is too bizarre to be anything else. Thoughts? I don't know, man. Like, billionaires be billionairing. I don't know if he's scared of someone or if, like, his plans just don't involve a squeeze. Maybe he needs, for whatever merger acquisition's going on, maybe he needs our market cap at a certain level and he can't let it go past that, or else it'll mess up, like, a swap of shares or whatever. The easiest way, if you are scared of someone, the easiest way, and if you got a platform, is just to come out and say how you were threatened. And then immediately, like, nothing can happen to you after that. So that's that. If Ryan Crone is like scared of someone being threatened, just come out and say it, man. Be like, hey, this person over here is threatening to do X, and then all of a sudden that person can't do it anymore, right? It kind of neutralizes their play, and everyone starts looking at them as a culprit. So that's what happened to Ryan. To do that, just call him out. Karen Mirza, happy birthday, Houston. Can Monley? What's Monkey? Can Monkey get a treat first day of summer? Also, look at stock TPHS. Okay. TPHS. TPHS. That's Trinity Pines High School. That's not what I'm looking for here. No. Okay. Trinity Place Holdings. Okay, I gotta go to the Chrome. Make sure the Chrome is on. Chrome on again. Okay. So, it went from 12 cents to 24 cents and down to 19 all after hours. That's crazy. What was that all about? I'm looking at it. It doubled. We climbed 100% after hours. Still sitting pretty. What the heck? I don't know what Trinity Place Holdings is. Place Holdings stock news, market watch, real time stock news, stock price quote. I see no news popping up instantaneously. Trinity Place. Why is Trinity Place stock up 97%? Let's look at what Investor Place has to say. It's probably something about like meme stock, blah blah blah. Okay. With a forbearance update. Company has reached agreement with extension at the end of the month. News brings heavy trading company shares. The real estate holding company announced forbearance agreement update. The news comes along. Oh, okay. So this is one of those people who are underwater on commercial real estate, it sounds like, and they got a loan forbearance. They can go a little bit longer without having to pay anything. Their market capitalization is like $4 million. Okay. Interesting. All right. So there's some sort of real estate holdings company, which in this day and age, I would, unless you're going to day trade it and have fun, I would stay the hell away from these guys. Anyway, in other news, monkey butt. Let's do that. Whoa! Shall we? You got one in like fifth of stinky beefs. Shall we stinky beefs it? Want the little one? Want that little guy? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no no. And then we will take the stinky beef bag, shove it to the bottom of this thing so you don't try to dig into it later, because I know you. That's right, you can be a bad dog at times. Come on. Come on. Get it. Come get it. Come get it. Come on. It's right there. It's right there. You can do it. Oh, so gentle. All right. Oh, I got to thank Avocado sent me this wonderful cowboy shirt. It's gorgeous. Goes well with these dreamy blue eyes, doesn't it? So, thank you, Cameron. I'm gonna get a treat. She's a very happy dog. Yes, you are, even though it's just hot as balls in here. Okay. So, is that everything I wanted to cover? I can't remember what I put into the... Oh, yeah. FINRA is running most trades through dark pools right now. Like, 55% of all trades on GameStop are going through the FINRA dark pool. The FINRA was a FINRA X exchange, whatever it is. And FINRA's like, it's not an exchange. We don't run an exchange. It's a dark pool exchange. So it's not a real exchange. We don't run any exchanges. We're a regulator, except for when we run everything through dark pools, because that's what we do, because we're a bunch of lying assholes. So anyway, all the GameStop trades are running through FINRA. Not all of them, but like 55% of them are running through this FINRA price discovery exchange that allows for dark pool transactions or off-exchange transactions. So basically, FINRA testified before Congress, I don't run an exchange. And in reality, what they do is they run an exchange. It just is through a dark pool, so they don't have to tell us what prices anything is selling for in it. So it's even worse than just running exchange. It is basically fronting all the crime that's causing these naked short sales to explode. So FINRA can suck a fat one on that. Japanese yen is in free fall. It's at the lowest point in 35 years. Japanese banks have been trying to dump U.S. treasuries in order to strengthen the currency, which obviously is not working because the currency continues to fall. Japan's got some real problems, and those problems basically date back to the fact that they artificially have kept interest rates too low since like 1997, when there was the Asian economic crisis. And with these extremely low interest rates, did not spur any building. And now that they're in trouble again, they have no ability to cut rates to spur like investment, and they actually have to raise rates to cause pain, and they're scared to do it. They have to combat inflation by raising rates, and they just won't do it. So their currency is going to become valueless essentially until the central bank does what they're supposed to do, which is quantitative tightening. And they're not doing it. So, yeah. And outside of that, the entire planet either seems to be in a heat dome or underwater. So, pick one. Well, I don't know where you are. You might be in a heat dome, or you might be underwater. But that seems to be the two. But also snowed in Wyoming like yesterday. So, if it can either be snowing on you, you're in a heat dome, or you're underwater. So, pick one. Yeah. Okay. Hungry Caveman was first. Hello, Hungry Caveman. Louis comes in with the graphics. How bizarre. Houston, take me away to paradise. To the Paradise City. The chicks are fat and they got big titties. Billcoin last. Mike Kemper, I'm fifth. You are. GDC, let's go. I think BBBY announcement is going to kick this off. I hope so too. It seems like Sears is spooling up to do something. They've got a whole bunch of job listings. They're posting really cryptic things at the moment. So, yeah, it seems like Sears is building up to something, and I'm very curious to see what it is. GameStop's got like 4,000 positions available. Yeah, and then yesterday was the day for, what's the term I'm looking for BBBY in their bankruptcy? It was the sealing or whatever, the adjournment. There's basically, they have to lock up all the agreements for all of the outstanding creditors and be like, done. And traditionally, from that moment forward, it's between 12 and 50 days until the stock reappears in the market. So let's hope that something happens. It'd be really nice for it to happen, soon. GDC, that way it's not GME that started it. I'm okay with that plan. David Hashemi, Houston. I lost over $6,000 on GME calls last week. How do I recover with my $300 left over? I went from 700 to 60K to nothing on mine. So you just start over. Wait until the volatility comes back, which may happen in the next few weeks, and try again. That's what I'm going to do. Take the next paycheck and get some calls. I'm going to try, 3 times now. 3 times have come within one trading day of retirement on my call strategy. Built up over weeks or months of day trading options to a large enough stack that all I needed was the stock to go one way, and then Houston's done. And 3 times Ryan Cohen's filed something that's absolutely destroyed my entire play. That's a real bummer. I tried to get back in it last week, but nothing. There's no volatility, or not enough volatility last week for me to do anything with it. So try number 4 was kind of half-assed. Try number 5. We'll see if we can do try number 5 this coming month. See what we can do. But yeah, it's options are for degenerate gamblers. Like, make no mistake. Wait. Like the safe way to do options is you look at a stock that goes up every single week or every single month, something like the SPY or Nvidia, and you buy at the money for 5 weeks out. It goes up, you sell or exercise, you buy at the money for like 5-6 weeks out. It goes up, you sell or exercise, or you do like condors, and you can read all the different strategies of like, you buy it in the money put and you sell it outside the money put, and you do all these different things that kind of give you a guaranteed 5% every week over week, forever. I was reading about this fund that they get something like 1,100% gains year over year, and it's all they've been doing is they buy 6-week out calls for the SPY, and it goes up sometime during those 6 weeks. They sell them. They buy a whole bunch more 6-week out calls for the SPY at the money. It goes up. They sell them. That's what they've been doing for like 10 years now. It's just raking in, like doubling their money every year with this strategy. It'll work great until they dump all their money into the SPY and the bottom falls out of the real estate market, and Nvidia gets found out for being Enron 2.0, and then it goes. But until then, it's been a great strategy. Yeah, so welcome to the Degenerate Gambler Club there, David Hashemi. Mantan, happy birthday, Houston. Hopefully, we get our BBY shares back. Man. Just someone do something. Something interesting's got to happen somewhere. ECB, confusing times. How high could BBY shares go if back? Overall feeling RC wants to string out investors. How high could BBY shares go if they come back? Well, it depends on how they come back, right? Like, there's lots of rumors that there's going to be a cash component due to, a settlement by JP Morgan or the former board or whatever on the $11.8 billion in, irresponsible stock buybacks that they did. And if there's a cash component, and depending on how many shares of BBY there actually should be, which is in debate, like some people say it's 117 million, some say it's 90 million, some say it's 420 million, like somewhere in there. It can mean anywhere from like a $45 payout to a $120 payout per share, right? So there's a floor for you right there. And if the stock comes back and it comes back as a share in another company, right? So if GameStop is absorbing them, then you're looking at $20+ per share for each share of those. And plus that $120 per share component or $45 per share component or whatever it is. And that sets a huge floor. And if there's a cash component to it, if there's a hefty cash component to it, and let's say it is something ridiculous like $120 a share, well, boop. Okay, turn that off. Go there, turn off Chrome. Boink. Okay, so let's say it's something ridiculous like $120 per share. We have no idea. This is all speculation. I'm not guaranteeing anything. But we want to see what kind of pain this causes to short hedge funds. So there's payout, and that means every share that they shorted, whether legitimately or naked, is going to owe a payment in lieu of $120, right? There are estimations that there's around 4 or 5 billion short shares on GameStop. Okay, let's say it's 5 billion. Let's go with the tops. It's 5 billion short shares. Boom. They now owe $600 billion in cash. They do not have $600 billion in cash. No one has $600 billion in cash. They are now effed in the A. They're absolutely just gasping for air. There's nothing that Virtue or Citadel or anyone else who shorted Bed Bath & Beyond down to 4 cents can do about this. They owe $600 billion, and they did not make $600 billion shorting those shares. Right? We're talking billions of shorts from the time it was like 25 cents on down. So if they're doing 4 billion shorts at 25 cents, they made $1 billion off of that. $1 billion profit. Oh no, now they owe $599 billion more dollars. Okay, let's assume it's on the lower side. It's like $45, and there's only 4 billion shares. Oh no, they owe $180 billion in cash. Right? So if there's a cash component in the revival of Bed Bath equity, shorts are destroyed instantaneously. This means not only will they get liquidated for the cash component for this, but when the value of the stock comes in, they now owe the shares. There's no way you can avoid any margin call or liquidation at this point forward. You cannot come up with the cash for this. So your cash gets wiped out, right? Gone, poof, gone forever. And you now have to close all your positions. So you're getting liquidated. All your bonds, all your stocks, everything's getting sold off, and you don't have very much assets anyway, so you might be able to carve off maybe $1 billion or $2 billion off that thing. And then all of a sudden the prime brokers, right, your Goldman Sachs, your JP Morgans, your Merrill Lynch's, your Nomura's, your UBS's, all those guys, all of a sudden they now have to close these positions out, and every single one of them will be just like Credit Suisse. They won't be able to do it. So you're bringing down every investment bank on earth, and that's what Uncle Sam is going to have to make it rain to keep the banks alive, because we are now in not just a recession, but probably the biggest recession since the Great Depression. It will be bad news, and we don't have to sell our stock, right? We receive our shares, receive $120. What do we do with the $120? You degenerates. We go and we buy GameStop with it, right? All of a sudden there'll be tens of billions or hundreds of billions of dollars of purchases of GameStop, triggering that sucker to squeeze. So it will just be a monster cycle. It'd be absolutely insane. So that's basically the death knell for all these short hedge funds. Is if Bed Bath & Beyond comes back with a cash component, there's nothing you can do about it, because it sets a huge floor price for the stock, which will be, hundreds of times what they shorted it for. So like, let's see here. Let's say you got $120 cash or $45 cash, whatever, and it puts the floor of the stock at $30. I mean, it should be more than that if you're getting a larger cash component. But anyway, you get a stock that's $30 floor price. They shorted this thing down to 4 cents. So anyone who shorted at 4 cents now owes 750 times what they made off of it. So if you made $1 million shorting that stock at 4 cents, you You have to short so many shares to make $1 million at 4 cents a share. You now owe $750 million on that. So there are small time, day traders who they shorted, $70,000 in shares, $100,000 in shares. You shorted $100,000 in shares, you now owe $75 million on your short, if that's the case. It's going to obliterate family offices, hedge funds, individual investors who made the wrong bet. You don't come back from that. We saw that when the crypto explosion happened 2 years ago. When like Luna went down, we had dudes that had $75 million and they were on margin, and then poof, gone. Once the US dollar coin went under, they went under too. So it happens. You just poof, you don't exist anymore. That's it. You will never be able to open a brokerage account again because no one's going to take on that risk. So yeah, if you owe 750x on your short position, nah, you don't have enough assets to back that up at all. Period. Done. Gone. Poof. So anyway, Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. Good news coming from Archegos mentioning GME on trial today. This is true. What they call us, a biker gang, is what they call us in the trial. Those GME people, they're a biker gang. And it was assumed all along that Huang had a whole bunch of shorts on GameStop. And it seems to be getting pieced together now that that's the case. And that's the bags that Nomura holds and that Credit Suisse / UBS hold right now. Which on the Credit Suisse side is like $27 billion. So it's probably equal on the Nomura side. So yeah. Esco. Why'd the hedge fund guy go work at the Gap? Because he was a short seller. Ba-dump. Sean, when? When is the question? I don't know. Drinky McDrinkington. Indeed, BW Brand. Cap T, teriyaki sauce is boss. Favorite teriyaki restaurant? Well, Seattle's got so many. But my favorite teriyaki restaurant's the one Monkey and I go to every week, which is Teriyaki Town here on Bainbridge. I get the chicken katsu, and I get the tempura fried prawns, and they're delicious. Every once in a while I get Kalbi beef. Very rarely do I actually get the teriyaki chicken because I like katsu so much. I really miss. There used to be a restaurant on the island called Shima's, which was a sushi restaurant, and they had Shima's Express. And Shima's Express was super cheap, and I could get pork and chicken katsu, but in Japanese curry, which is just amazing. And I would do that like 3 times a week. When I'd come back from the ferry terminal after teaching, I would stop by there because it was on my walk home, and I would load up on that sucker. Just, oh man, I miss Shima. The owner's wife's mom got ill, so they had to like sell everything to fly back to Japan and to go take care of the mom. And on their way to Japan, the mom died. So they got to Japan, they're like, well, we sold our business and now we have no reason to be back in Japan. So they moved to Maui, and they have a restaurant there. They have a place called Garden Sushi, and they have a vegetarian ramen place in Kihei, I believe. Maybe it's in Lahaina, maybe. And I know that their business got burned down, their house got burned down, and lots of drama. But when I went and visited, I went and saw them for a time. He was the chef at Nobu on Lanai when I went to go visit them, and he just made me such amazing food. But now they're in like Kihei, Lanai, somewhere in there. And but yeah, so I missed that. Speaking of Bainbridge, my 4th of July barbecue is coming up on the 4th of July. If you are in the Northwest and you would like to come to the 4th of July, send me a message. I'll get you an invite, and you can come out, play in the bounce house, ride the slip and slide, eat some burgers, cookies, salad, whatever, hang out. And meet Monkey Butts, and you're all invited if you're going to be here in the Northwest on the 4th. Sounds like Peruvian Bull might come. He apparently lives in Redmond, so he's in Colombia right now visiting people. And he's like, yeah, I'll bring my friends. So Peruvian Bull might be here. So yeah, come on by and enjoy my backyard. Slip and slide away, man. I'm not gonna broadcast my address on the internet though, so I got enough creepy stalkers as it is. But yeah, come on by. We'll do some 4th of July awesome. Right, monkey butt. It's still 80 degrees in here. Still 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It hasn't gone up at all, but I feel very warm. GDC, I'd rather be a band of pirates than a biker gang. Yeah, I'd rather be a pirate than a biker gang too. Because like a biker gang, you just get like dusty and you're getting bugs in your teeth and stuff. A pirate, they go to like tropical beaches and, you know, that's way cooler. Or warmer or whatever. Dark Horse, Richard's latest video helped me understand a little bit of the swaps conspiracy. Man, I miss the taste of beard. I'm left asking, oh, you mean bread. I miss the taste of beard. Nom 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 nom. Left asking, why, Cohen? I hope he's got something planned. He better have something huge planned. Like, you can't absolutely rug pull all of your investors twice in a month and not have something cool for them. Like, oh, you know, the economy might go down. We're just going to hold on to this cash. Boring. Do something cool. That's all you have to do. Something cool. Just one cool thing. And we'll be like, all right, that's cool. But not anything cool. We're just... That's where we are. The Chill Face is 38th. Legacy and Productions, Houston. Watching you fight off Nazis on Twitter is my new favorite spectator sport. It's like you are the Captain America fending off Hitler's army in the 1940s in a fish wears mattress. They're just so dumb. They make it so easy. They all have like anime characters as a profile picture or a statue or like Hitler himself as a profile picture. Every single one of them is one of 3 things. And all it shows me is like that they're just weak little babies. Because I put my name and face out there. I don't use a nom de plume or whatever. People stalk me, they threaten me, they blah 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 blah, whatever. I don't care. Because I stand behind what I say and what I believe. And I might be wrong at times. That happens all the time. But they do not have the gumption to stand behind what they believe. They got a chirp from some cartoon character account and say all sorts of hateful racist things because they know if their name and face was involved, they would never be employed ever again. Their family would probably leave them. They can't openly say their ideas to those around them because they know that they would be ostracized by family and friends and everyone else, and they'd be sad and alone. Or they already are sad and alone, and they don't want to be even more sad and alone. It's so when dismantling a Nazi on the internet, it is really, really easy because they're just so dumb. Like, the main post was about Sneeko getting punched in the face by a bouncer at a club in Detroit. So Detroit had the Turning Point USA like convention, but Turning Point USA got taken over by the Groypers, who are a bunch of neo-Nazi dudes like Nick Fuentes and those guys. And so all these neo-Nazis went to these clubs in a city that's like 70% black and then tried to be little neo-Nazis. And the black bouncers were like, kabam! And took them out. So there's a beautiful video of this bouncer flying off a stage, super punching Sneeko in the face and taking some of Sneeko's teeth. And so I posted it, and all these Nazis are like, if you were to see a Nazi, you wouldn't do shit. And I was like, buddy, you don't even have the stones to put your name and face on the internet. Like, what are you going to do about it? And or they'd be like, Sneeko can't be a Nazi. He's not even white all the way. I'm like, buddy, all you're doing is just proving that Sneeko's a moron because he's advocating for white supremacy while not even being white himself. Like, there was a group in the 1930s called the Verband Nationaldeutscher Juden. It's basically the Jewish nationalist party that were Jews for Hitler. And, you know, the Nazis at the time would use them like, we're not racist. Look, there's these Jews who support us. And the minute they got power, they killed all the Jews. Those Jews were saying like Heil Hitler while they're being executed by the Nazis. Like, just because you're dumb doesn't give you some sort of like inoculation from being accused of being a Nazi. You spend your time on Twitter and on Rumble telling everyone how awesome Hitler is. You're a Nazi. Like, have these guys ever taken a logistics course, a logic course? Like, ninth grade algebra, you go through this. It's called syllogism. You know, people who praise Hitler are Nazis. Sneeko praises Hitler. Therefore, Sneeko is a Nazi. It's not that hard to like go through the logical train of thought to make this establishment. But yeah, so don't be a Nazi. It's pretty simple, right? Like, live your life not being a Nazi, and you've accomplished more than a lot of folks throughout history. So good job. But if you're going to cling to those ideals of people who got their asses kicked 80 plus years ago, don't be surprised if you then lose your teeth at a nightclub when you're a little Nazi douchebag. That's simple as that. Like, the Nazis always like say things too, like, "Oh, you advocate for violence." I'm like, yeah. Once against the Nazi, it's not assault. It's just making the world a better place, one flying punch at a time. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. There we go. All right. Lexington Productions, will you still be open to teaming up with Richard Newton in the immediate future? I need to send him a message. Yeah. Does he have a Twitter? I don't know if I follow his Twitter. I've seen his videos on YouTube. I'll have to go look. But yeah, I'd love to have him on, kind of talk us through some of his things, because he's way more analytical about these things than I am. He's got spreadsheets, and he's got programs or something, identify all these patterns, and I'm too lazy to do that. So I would gladly have him explain it to me, and me go, interesting. But he's done a really good job so far. Scott Pollen checking in from Electric Forest. I have no idea what Electric Forest is. Electric Forest. Michigan? Electric Forest campers arrived, droves, heat. That was on the way to Michigan for Electric Forest Festival. Ah, okay. So it sounds like, is it like a techno fair? Electric Forest. Images. Whoa, look at that. Okay. But oops, that's not what we're looking at. That is. So Electric Forest looks very electric-y and foresty. So here we go. Looks like we got ourselves techno ladies in their techno clothes. We've got lots of people camping. Looks like one hell of a music festival, huh? That's really cool looking, that one. All right. Sounds like fun, Scott. Have a good time. Andrew Stewart, Houston. Any updates on getting the war rig running again? Also, did you play any other positions other than pitcher? In college, I did not play any other positions other than pitcher. In high school, I played third base and I pitched. In one game when I was in Austria, they put me at second base. In Little League, middle school, I have never played second base in my entire life. And they put me at a game at second base, and I was terrified. Absolutely. I'd played the hot corner. I'd never been so close to the first baseman before. I didn't know if I should underhand it or wing it at him. Luckily, only 2 balls were hit to me the entire game. One was a infield pop. Another one was a little dribbler. And I went to underhand it, and I was so scared I was going to cause an error. I basically told the manager, like, never do that to me again. Like, I'll play outfield, I'll play third base, I'll pitch. I will not play shortstop or second base. In the old timers games, I usually pitch or play first base now because my vision isn't as good as it used to be, and I can't play outfield. I have a hard time with depth perception with fly balls now, and I cannot tell like where it's going. So it's much easier for me in my crappy eyes to play first base than anything else. And plus, I don't have to run anywhere. It's great. So yeah, that's usually what I do. I usually play a few innings at first base and then pitch like one inning until my arm falls off. But my arm's in much better shape this year, right, Monkey? right? You know, you sit there and you watch me throw the ball against the wall, so you know. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, Place in Productions, Houston, Sears, what doing? Their website is functional and you can shop for appliances. Yeah, it's interesting. Something's happening with Sears for sure. And I don't know if they're like coming back full bore or if they're just sort of, you know, doing little things here and there. Like they opened that store in, was it Burbank down in California? And I guess they're opening one. Where was it? It was like El Paso or something where they're opening one. So it looks like they might becoming anchor tenants back in malls or maybe become big box stores, separate from malls, sort of Walmart style. I don't know. But there's something definitely happening. That's for sure. Brandon Wells, sup? Is it factory? Puts tinfoil hat on. A few days ago, Pulte said GME will drop down more as he is predicting wrong. So they can't claim he has insider info. I mean, the Max Payne was $20 the other day. And where are we now? Refresh. Max Payne is now currently $22. We're at 25 and change, I believe. And we're at 25 and change, so we're $3 above Max Payne. Yeah, so the price was, I think they intended to crash the price to $20. That didn't happen. And we had a lot of weird options purchases. Like somebody purchased millions of dollars worth of puts at like the 125 range. Meaning if it gets exercised, they're gladly buying shares at $125 a share. What in the world? Like, that's just, who opens that kind of position? It's weird. It's very weird. So maybe they're trying to force the price to go above $125 so no one has to buy shares at that. It's weird. I can't explain it. We still have like 112,000 open interest on 125s for Friday. For tomorrow. Wow. What? It's just, what? It's so, doesn't make any sense. Kevin, everyone who followed DFE into the 621 calls, hosed, sucks. I mean, if you bought at $20, you're still up. Like, the price is still above $20 and very likely above your strike price. Unless you bought those $20 calls and the price was like $60, and then no, you are screwed. Sorry, I think I've got another eyelash trying to kill my eyeball here. There we go. Gotcha, you stinky little snot. So it's yeah. If you bought out of the money, you're your host. But that's the risk you take out of the money. But if you bought $20, and those $20 ones, what are they worth right now? It's GME options chain. Boink. Come on, boink. Do it. Open. There you go. Okay. So at $20, they're still worth $538. So, and there's still 60,000 of them in there. All those folks, they probably didn't buy much more expensive than that, so they're still in the money. We still have a lot at 25 that are triggered. And if for some reason we see a boom to $30, we have tens of thousands and more. So there's still an opportunity to put a lot of this stuff in the money. Right now, Max Payne is $22. So we have 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 40, 52, 57. So about 5.7 million shares are currently in the money. That's good. That's a nice little push. We could add another 8 million shares. So we could be at like 14 million shares in the money by tomorrow for some reason if this thing finishes at $30. That would be a gamma push for next week for sure. Yeah, that's the implied volatility is still bonkers. Like, look at the implied volatility on this. It says 737. That's still ridiculous. Redonkulous is what that is. And even on the other side, 3,000% at $2. It's just, yeah. That it's weird maths are going on right now. I don't know. Stephanie L, what's your take on Jake and Sal? I think the mom sick thing is cover. What would be the case for an NDA? Why would RC or whoever do that with them? I don't know if it'd be RC or if it would be one of the plan admins, Goldberg or the unknown reorganization plan administrator. We don't know who that is. We do know that they were sending documents and asking questions of these folks, and they may have been told, hey, we can give you an answer to this question, but you have to sign NDA first. And I think Jake definitely signed an NDA. I don't know about Sal. I haven't heard from him recently. I know he's just recently coming back to posting a couple tweets again. He was claiming that he had to go take care of his mom. Sometimes you have to take care of your mom. That's life. But I think in Jake's case, I think he did sign NDA, and that he was given privileged information, and he can't talk about it. So all he did was he posted himself sitting on a couch, and that was enough said. Like, if I were as involved in pestering the plan administrator and stuff, and they asked me to sign NDA, I'd be like, hell yeah. And what you'd see right here where Next Level Chimneys is you would see a picture of a baby. That'll be my sign. I signed an NDA about this, which is be a picture of a baby up there, and I'll be like, and I won't talk about it. So I do think Bed Bath is coming out. There's way too much in Knowles for them not to come out. There's tons of fraud. They're going to get piles of cash from suppliers and stuff who screwed them over. My guess is that the 2024 bonds will get paid out, which is they're about $500 million of them. So those 2024 bonds, they'll get paid out at some point in cash. I think the other two series of bonds, the 2034 and the 2044, will be incorporated into whatever entity emerges from bankruptcy and will continue on with interest payments and things like that. And then the new entity will be either folded into another company or be a subsidiary of another company or something. I think that's what's going to happen with it. And we just, like, hang out, man. Yeah. We're still thumb twiddling, though, till we get some more meat onto our plate. Lucas B, GME volume dropped a lot the last couple of days. What do you make of all of it? I think the thrill is gone at the moment. I think most of the volatility is out unless something weird happens tomorrow, like T35 or something. Right, Monkey? Yeah. I think that's it. Like, a lot of folks who were driving the volume were doing options plays like me, hoping to make an absolute killing. And then we got, like, strung up and our pockets robbed and given to market makers, which really sucks. Like, it just, the pain will not go away. I would have had millions of dollars cash in my hand in like 500,000 GME shares if they had just not diluted. Anyway, so it's just, that pain will only go away when I can do it again or have it successful a second time, third, fourth time. Kevin, excitement wore off. That's as good explanation as any. My guess is that Roaring Kitty will make another special announcement at some point, and we'll be like, "What? It's happening again?" I do think it's interesting that he showed us his E-Trade account, but there was that Fidelity tab on his browser. So what's he got going on in Fidelity? PP seems convinced that's where his BBBY is. Because he's made some allusions to the PP show. He had one of those videos. It's the intro song to the PP show. It's from some video game. He did the Bruno reference the other day, and that scene in Bruno is Follow the Butterfly. So there's some interesting little references there. So he might be part of it, because back when he was doing a show, he had a whole bunch of stocks he was playing with, and he talked about other things. GameStop was his main play, but he did talk about other stocks. So the fact that he's YOLOing, he's only showing us one brokerage account, and if he's like you, me, or anybody else, you have multiple brokerage accounts. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 brokerage accounts. So yeah, they six brokerage accounts. Sorry, I forgot one. And so yeah, there's all sorts of different things for that he could be doing on the side, because can't see a shuffle. Paratera in Houston, thoughts happening tomorrow? Anything to look out for? Well, if the T35 is true as to the purchase date for DFV, then we should see some volume tomorrow. That's for sure. Region Formal had a good post today about looking at errors in the CAT system. So the CAT system takes errors across the entire market, and every day just lists how many errors. And he found a T35 link between the number of errors on a certain day and price action on GameStop. And Monkey, come on. Dude, what's going on? What are you trying to do? You just want to sit here and be a good dog? Is that what? So he's looking at like, hey, this date, May 1st, whatever, had 7.8 billion errors in sales of transfer of stock. That's crazy. It's like 14% of the entire market was error, not functioning. And 35 days later, I'll run up on GameStop that week of June. So he looked back in time to when CAT system, they're testing out the CAT system for the past like 3 years. He's looking at these errors, and a 9 out of 9 correlation when there were errors of $1.8 billion or more, or 1.8 billion shares or more in the system reported, GameStop ran 60% or more in the next 35 days. So there seems to be a correlation. That's a really good post. If I were allowed to use Twitter, I would be posting it to Twitter right now. So somebody else, please post it for me. Is it? Look at this sad little face. I know. It's 4 o'clock our time. You're going, oh, I only got one tweet. I want more. Is that what you want? Fine. You want some Nuggy Nuggies? We've got bags and bags of Nuggy Nuggies. Some Costco Nuggies. Is that what you want? Yes. Want to come get it? Can you come get it? There's Stretchy Dog. Oh, okay. I know. You have an entire bowl of food downstairs full of like dried lamb and stuff, and all you care about is the world's hardest biscuit. Green Cran, hi Brother Houston. Can you check out Chewy? Would love to hear your take on the week's price movement and options chain. Chewy's been doing interesting things. Right now, GameStop and Chewy are very similar at the moment. Let's look at Chewy. I'm not taking a look at Chewy options chain. Chewy options chain. What we got? Oh, we got some decent numbers. Nothing like GameStop. It's at $25 also. No, a lot of tickets going on. What am I looking for on the options chain? Also has really high applied volatility, at definitely, especially low end. I don't know what I'm looking for though. Like, people making predictions that GameStop's going to spend $3 billion and buy a majority stake in Chewy. They might do that. Ryan Cohen might want his baby back, right? Okay, treat, not going to leave. Okay. Yeah, what are we looking for on the sucker? Tell me. I don't know. I'm so warm. I can't believe it's only 80 degrees in here. It says 80 degrees. It's probably because it's been near the window. It was like right here, it's much warmer than 80 degrees. Captain Jimmy Wilder. Why are we on this particular mission? We'll never know. But I do know here today that the Black Knights will emerge victorious once again. All right. Pair turn. Here are some coordinates for you. Search around, street view, pretty cool spot. I can do some coordinates. Let's coordinate. Boom. Boom. And boom. Where are we going? Going Tennessee? We're going to pretty cool spots. Looks like a quarry. Where am I? The caverns. Okay. We're at the caverns. Looks like we can go here. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's a concert space. That's kind of cool. I can dig that. I like the little bar there. That's neat. There's also an aberration. This little girl does not want to be photographed by the Google camera. We got Robin over here. Must be a Halloween show, maybe? Jacket person. This is a giant hand. Huh. Well, that's cool. Can I go anywhere else? Exit street view. They have more. Let's go there. Okay. Oh, and that's a dinner hall. Some lady, she's doing stand up. What is she doing? And huh. I dig it. It's a cool spot to have a show. I like it. Interesting. Interesting. Never knew that existed. Filthiness. Hey, Houston. Adam Aaron said he foresees no reason to dilute, which leads me to believe he's planning on diluting. Thoughts? Yes. Richard White, AA will dilute. He will. He still has, $4.85 billion in loans he's got to pay back. It's eating up about $500 million a year, which is about how short they are on profit. And so, or at least in 2023 they were. So if they can close the gap and take care of some, I don't know, $2, $3, $4 billion in loans, they could be a profitable company. So he's gonna have to dilute. So if he had some patience and waited till the stock was like, I don't know, 25, 30 bucks, he would have made so much money by diluting so very little. But he's been hammering it when it's like $3 a share, which means he has to put so many shares out in the market. It just destroys the stock price in the long run. Yeah. Yogi 2012, what's up with No Labs? No Labs is doing some sort of unit sale of like shares and warrants, I believe. That's all I know. Something like that. So they're raising some capital. Houston, I think the solution is chin scratch. Says Ziggy. Ziggy 780. Also, a burger can still be something as you assume its existence, so you know it's there. Talking about Nothingburger. Richard White still thinks No Lab's a good bet. Belgian Whale turned $5K into $65. Here's hope for tomorrow. Join the club. Yogi, 2012. FINRA UPC committee members and their conflicts of interest being exposed has me a little excited. Hopefully, we see them start finger pointing soon. Yeah, they need Pete Sessions and McHenry. They need those guys who are receiving huge campaign donations from groups like Hilltop, whose members are on FINRA's board, to be made public. Like they need to either recuse themselves from those hearings and let somebody else run them, or explain themselves as to why they're letting these people off the hook by not subpoenaing members of FINRA. It is an incestuous game full of rich assholes, and sadly, you and I aren't in it. So we have to make up for it in volume. So be as mean as possible. Belgian Whale's going to sleep. Alrighty, buddy. Janu, I'm here for already an hour behind in chat. I am an hour and 14 minutes behind in chat there, Janu. I've not even started the show yet. I'm still behind that. So can we make it to the start of the show? First name, last time. Houston sent you a Blue Sky link to a Reddit image post about cat data for May, June. Thoughts? That's going to be Region Formal's post. Yes. So we have a link to it. Let's see here if I can. Oops, not that. That's not at all the right. That one. Blink, blink. Notifications. First name, last name. There we go. Okay. Here it is. Yes. So gotta leave the caverns. There we are. All right. So this is Region Formals. This is Region Formals. No, this is Deal Ambitious, but same thing. Showing the errors in the billions. This is not the exact post. Region Formal at least explains what they think is going on. But it's the same type of thing. Let me see. Oh, where was? One sec. Let me look for it here. Bam. And boom. And something there. Was it this one? Send it to you. Maybe I didn't send it. I received it via text, which does not help at all because I can't take my text messages and put them up. So that did not receive it through that. Anyway, so yeah, look for Region Formal on Reddit, and you'll find his little blue box explanations for things. Oh my god, I need to drink water. I have not drank enough water at all. Z30. There is something still obviously brewing. If Ryan has not bought any shares, do you agree? Yeah, that's a good sign that there is still something a brewing. Is if he and the other insiders have not done any major purchases. Only one person made purchases in the last 8-9 months, and that was Larry Chang, and it was not for that many. It was like 10,000 shares, and that appeared there was some sort of plan that he was going to purchase that stuff long ahead of time at that date. So that still spells merger acquisition, something going on in that realm. Michael Harrow, Houston, get a chance to talk to Ron about No Labs going to sell units yet? I have not spoken to him about that. Still haven't heard back from him about the Lynn Partners thing. But I know I'll see him on 4th of July because he'll definitely be here. So at least I'll talk to him then. And I'll see him at the car show, the 4th of July car show, because he always has some cool car there. What's going on, cat? What's happening? Fat cat's here. Moon Ape's here. Victor M. Hi, Houston. Thank you for your amazing shows in the community. Is tomorrow not the day where all the options from 2020 expire, which gave us some days ago the speculation that we can go to the moon? Well, there's a bunch of options that expire tomorrow. They are leaps, the June leaps. We'll have to see what the price action does. It also might be a T35 date, so we could see some larger volume happen tomorrow. I at the moment, my heart is bruised and battered, and I don't have too much zazz going on. So, I mean, maybe we'll get it spooled up again if something cool happens tomorrow. But at the moment, that's a possibility. We might close, if we close at $30, that'd be fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised if we close at $22.50 tomorrow. So, all depends. If that T35 stuff is true and we start to see a big volume tomorrow on a Friday, well, Gamma's back on the menu. And Houston is back to doing his options play. But if nothing happens tomorrow, well, we might have to wait a few weeks until something exciting happens again. James Perico, happy birthday, Houston. Any guesses on the MMTLP timeline? We seem to get a nibble info than nothing at all. A whole lot of nothing at all happening. And I really wish we'd get an update from Rosa, but she seems to have just gone radio silent since her marriage. Can't blame her. She's got a life to live. But I would love to have an update from her and her thoughts on all of this with an actual legal mind. Bravo. Has DV ever said anything like short squeeze, MOASS, shorts, or anything from that line of thinking? Where did that narrative come from way back when? Honestly, I don't know. I would not be the person who can answer that. I know he just said that the stock has a lot of potential and that he saw deep value in it. So, yeah. I don't know. I can't answer that for you. Brian Andrews. I think the shareholders meeting was BS. I trust RC to do good things for the company, but the truth is there can be no long-term growth until MOASS happens because hedge funds will continue to hinder it. Ding, 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 ding. Bingo. Like, the hedge funds know this company can't go bankrupt. They got too much cash on hand. But the hedge funds also know they have so much personal liability, they can't let this stock run to where it should. So they're going to play their stupid little games because they cannot cover themselves. They are naked, running down the street, crazy people, letting their dicks flap in the breeze, and there's no coming back from that. So you're going to have to get even more crazy. Even though the entire short thesis is blown out of the water at this point, they can't close. Which, one of the things that South Korea is doing. So South Korea has banned naked short selling entirely. Like, you can go to prison for life if you naked short sell in South Korea right now. But they also gave you a 1-year timeline to close out your short positions. So if you're going to make a short play, you got 1 year for it to happen. And if it doesn't, you got to close out and start all over again. That might be a little draconian, like maybe 2 or 3 years making a limit, because some cycles take a while for companies to go through bankruptcy, etc. But I totally agree. No short selling. No naked short selling ever at all. And if you're going to short sale, there should be some sort of timeline for your bet where either it happens or it doesn't. If it doesn't happen, then you got to get out. That's the type of thing that would make a market healthy. And we do not exist in a market that's healthy at the moment. We exist in just the strangest world where a company like Nvidia, which is dependent upon technology from Microsoft, is worth more than Microsoft, right? Like, yeah, they're a good company. They're a very profitable company. But their value is so far disconnected from reality. It's like at the opposite end of some of these companies get shorted, right? You have a company that pulls in $5-6 billion a year, and you can buy the entire company for $200 million. That is completely like untethered from reality. You have a company that makes $80 billion a year in sales, and they're worth over $3 trillion. That makes no sense. You have companies like DJT, which makes $2 million a year in sales, is losing $300 million a quarter, and they're worth billions. Like, that is untethered from reality. So there needs to be some way for us to kind of take the outliers and squeeze them so that the outliers aren't as outlying anymore. So they kind of flow much more along with the rest of the market, making everything just safer in general. Because if we have something like the SPY being completely dictated by the run of one stock, right? Like the SPY already is weighted like 32% towards tech stocks. Before, it's just 7 tech stocks, and now one of those tech stocks is just pulling the rest of the chain along. It means the ETF itself is broken. Like, if you want to have an actual value of the S&P 500, it should be equal parts 500 different companies, and just leave it at that. And then however those 500 companies do dictates the rest of the way. But if you load it up with like 7 real big players, then it's going to make everything else not reflect the actual economy. If you're a dog shit company at the bottom end of the S&P 500, but you're still included in that SPY, you're going to get dragged along by Nvidia, and the value of your company is going to go up over time, regardless of whether it's worth it or not. Right? Just like we see the basket move for XRT whenever GameStop moves, because GameStop is heavily weighted. It's the most abundant stock in that retail basket, right? So if GameStop goes one way or the other, every other stock in that basket goes the same direction as GameStop. So GameStop is the tail that's wagging the dog at that point. I don't know why any of it is allowed. It's just like if you're gonna form a market for like you had no idea about stock markets or anything, and you're just in this like void, and you're gonna start something fresh, new from like a neophyte perspective. You're naive, right? And you're like, okay, I need a market, I need to sell things. Your brain isn't going to naturally go to these weird ass ETFs, right? You're going to be like, hey, I'm going to sell this stock for that and get money here, and the value of the company will be according to how much money they make and profit they make. And like, you would figure out proper ways to sort of tally the worth of these companies. And now we've got just these weird ass fraud schemes that are like the lead dog on an Iditarod run, and it's just dragging the rest of them behind it. So that dog is like Clifford the Big Red Dog, and no one can do anything about it. It's just messed up. The whole system is messed up, and we know Nvidia is going to crash. You cannot fly that high and not crash, even back to reality. And the fact that they're doing Enron 2.0 means it's going to crash so hard, because a lot of their value is their investments into companies that are buying the chips from them, that are using those chips as collateral to get loans to buy more chips from them. And you cannot do that forever. You just can't. That's essentially, it's like a Ponzi with extra steps at that point. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Don't see the shade him. I'm seeing Quiet Riot play at the fair in the Ohio cornfields. The only OG is the bassist. Will this be so lame and awesome? You go to concerts? I used to go to a lot of concerts. Actually, since COVID, I really haven't been to that many. Yeah. I used to go to tons of concerts. It's weird if the bassist is the only person who's like OG in the band. Right? Like, I watched, I remember at my sister's college when she was graduating, it's like 26 years ago. Remember, Sha Na Na came and played like the night before the graduation. So I went to go see Sha Na Na. There was not a single person from Sha Na Na who was originally from Sha Na Na. It was all like it was like a off-Broadway tour production of Sha Na Na. I wonder if in the future, like 100 years from now, we will see Quiet Riot still playing. Like, congratulations, you're now a member of Quiet Riot. Just the same way, like, you can still see the Philadelphia Philharmonic playing, and nobody was alive from when the Philadelphia Philharmonic was originally formed. That will be the rock and roll bands of the future for many of them, because, hey, you want to hear some Quiet Riot songs? Well, we've got 5 guys who will play them for you. Welcome to the Angel of the Winds Casino. But I think you'll have fun, right? They'll still rock. You can see them. You can see Creedence Clearwater Revisited. The Doors still play, and the guy who wrote all the songs is long dead. Jim Morrison has not been around for 50 years, but you can still watch the Doors play. Yeah. Monkey. Hey, come. Is that your ear? Did I put a finger in your ear? Did I put a finger in your ear? Huh? Okay, I got 9 minutes. I gotta stop messing with Monkey, but gotta get serious here. I'm past the beginning of the show, so that's good. Exclusive 605, happy belated birthday, Houston. What do you think of those spheres surrounding far stars being theorized as potential Dyson spheres? I don't know about those. I know there's people that have. I know there's one object that we see. There's something that passes in front of a star every few months. Right? It's every few years. And all the telescopes in the world have been pointing at it, trying to figure out what it is, thinking it might be the remnants of a Dyson sphere or the beginning of one. If you don't know what a Dyson sphere is, it is a theoretical evolution of a society where you build a sphere that entirely encompasses a star. So that means all the energy that comes off that star gets absorbed by that technologically advanced society. Now, some of those spheres might be fully enclosed. I know Star Trek and other sci-fis have done things with them. Some of them may be partial, maybe webbing around it, so some stuff gets out. It's considered like the most advanced civilization you can get is to create a Dyson sphere and absorb 100% of the output of a star. But eventually, stars do die. They do lose their fuel, and they will expand and cook everyone in that society. So you got a set period of time. Yeah. It's I would love to see if we see some. Exclusive 605, you got any links to papers on that? Send it to me. I'd love to see it. Rupert Trooper, I report her new account, probably referring to Pwn. Please do. I mean, she's like, I called your college. You'll be amazed to hear what your boss said about you. I'm like, cool. So you're going to make it so I have to sue my boss now? Because they divulged some sort of private information they're not allowed to a stranger that called them. Plus, I'm really amazed that she was able to call at 9 p.m. on a holiday a week after school got out. It's really impressive. Whatever. So, Cis54, could we see a massive spike in price tomorrow? How high can we really go? Yeah, Mike Forsh, I made one DWI mistake, Houston. I get it. Like, people drink, they may not realize it has much, might not be, a lot of times when they're younger, they don't know how much is too much. They get behind the wheel, you get a DUI, you should learn your lesson from that first one, right? Like, wow, I should never do that again. That was stupid of me. You get punished. The punishment, I think, should be pretty severe. And you're given a second chance. If you violate that second chance, it's my opinion. If you can't keep yourself in control and you get a second DUI, you just never get to drive again. That's the only solution. Because if you get a second DUI, you're going to get a third. If you get a third, you get a fourth. And that's what I see constantly. I've worked in bars my entire adult life. I know the people who can't control themselves, and giving them their license back a fifth time after they got their DUI means they're just going to get a sixth one. And they're going to do that until they kill somebody. And as someone who lost someone very close to him via a repeat drunk driver, I don't stand for it. And I think we could probably get Uber and Lyft to lobby the government to make a 2 DUI limit. That's it. You get 2 DUIs, you no longer get to drive. You now have to like get a chauffeur, ride a bicycle, take your Segway, call an Uber or Lyft, beg friends and family. Like, that's it. Move closer to your work. Something. Because we lose too many people in a way that should be easily preventable for that to be the case. And that's what I think. Let them off. With the crazy low fines, will Nvidia just get a slap on the wrist? Amazon was fined $4 million for labor violations. Thoughts? I personally think that the fraud scheme Nvidia is pulling means Nvidia may not exist to get fines. What Enron was doing is Enron, they were a market for energy, natural gas, oil, electricity, etc. And they VC'd, like they were seed money for startups who would buy energy futures from Enron. They would take loans on those energy futures and buy more energy futures from Enron. And they had dozens of these companies doing that exact same thing, making Enron's books look like they were exploding by 2000, 2001, just running away with it. Like, this is going to be the biggest company in the entire world. These guys are geniuses. And eventually, right, energy prices just took a little dip, and the whole Ponzi came crashing down. All those little satellite companies vaporized, Enron vaporized. Nvidia is doing the same thing. They're doing the exact same thing. They are building up their sales via essentially buying their own chips from themselves and counting it as a sale. And that is cooking the books. And companies do not bounce back from that. What Nvidia has is different than Enron, is they actually have like patents and technology and factories and stuff. Enron was just a trading floor for dorkwads to basically destroy the California energy market. When they disappeared, it's not like they're actually providing anything to society. Whereas Nvidia at least has like factories that build chips and technological know-how and things like that. So they may come crashing down, but they might get gobbled up by Intel, Qualcomm, AMD, someone else. Or they may have to trim the fat and start all over again after, maybe they get seized by the government or something, because they're a very important company for national security reasons. So, but my guess is that the fraud that comes from it means the stock price is going to drop 90%, 95% before it's all over. Yeah, it's bonkers what they're going through. Absolutely bonkers. Just from Dax. At what price would you consider us in MOASS and not just a short squeeze? I think Kitty is setting up his options for July, August. I think if GameStop breaks $500, we are in MOASS territory. If it bursts through $500, it's on its way to 1,000. If it's on its way to 1,000, it's on its way to 10,000. So if it breaks through $500 and there's no like lid put on it by the powers that be, then we're MOASSing. And so I would love for it to go beyond that, but that's why I've been doing my options play in case they do put a lid on it. Because that way, if it goes to $500, I've got millions in the bank, and I don't have to worry about the MOASS. I can be like, okay, still got my shares, did my options play, we can reset and worry about it then. So that's why I've been working on options play. And so far, the only person who's put the kibosh on the squeeze has been Jimmy running code in the board. So that was the unexpected thing. I didn't put that into my calculations, that it wouldn't be the market makers or the brokers this time putting a lid on the squeeze. It'd be the company itself. And that was a little betraying, but such is life, right? I can only do one more, and I got to get running. And I finished this an hour and a half behind in the chat, so many thousand billion apologies. Robert Manson, I hope RC is the best chess player in the world, because that's what it will take to get our attendees. If they are going to allow 68 million naked shorts in one day, that's 12% of the float. They did 209 million back at the end of May. There was 240 million shares traded, 209 million of them went through the dark pools. That's ridiculous. And like, of those trades, 70% of them were short. So that's the thing, that everything's already unhinged at this point. I don't think it really takes a chess player. It takes two things. buy and hold, and a gamma squeeze. That's it. Those two things can trigger a giant squeeze. If you do a third thing, which is dilute on the day you're supposed to gamma, then you kill the whole thing. So it doesn't take a lot of chess. It just takes two simple little two moves. Buy and hold, gamma squeeze. Done. That's it. Yeah. All right. Want to get bed? You're a good dog. Everybody, why don't you have a great day? I'll see you tomorrow. We'll do a show tomorrow. And it'll probably be 95 degrees in this room when I do the show tomorrow because I think it's only supposed to get hotter this week. So, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, sorry, Lord Ape. I just saw yours come through. Thoughts on BBY credit bid coming. Fingers crossed. And thumbs a twiddling for that one. We're fingers crossed, thumbs a twiddling that there's a credit bid coming for BBBY. There we are. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Monkey says goodbye. Thank you for the treats. Thank you for the lovely shirt, avocados. And I'll see y'all later.